Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Since the movie Sinners came out, a lot of people have been not just asking us per se, but have been reaching out, also wanting to make their own short films, write their own scripts, because Sinners was an amazing film. It inspired a lot of new people to get into making films or short films or even just skits in reality. So in this video, I'm going to discuss how you can create films with little to no resources. And the term we use for this is resource filmmaking. Resource filmmaking is actually how a lot of filmmakers have gotten started. Even Ryan Coogler, even Spike Lee, resource filmmaking has been something that's been around for a really long time. And also it teaches you skills that allow you to kind of maximize your abilities even on larger sets. All right, so what is resource filmmaking exactly? Now, what I have written down specifically is kind of, not like a literal definition, but I want to read it to you. It's about reversing the traditional process. Instead of writing a script and trying to find the resources to match it, you look at the resources you already have, locations, props, people, time, and then build your story around these things. Think of it as storytelling with, constraints. These limitations actually boost creativity and force you to solve problems in clever, often more meaningful ways that can actually benefit you on larger film scenarios. So, much like how I described it, I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to shoot this short film. This short film is maybe about a project regarding a breakup. Well, you don't have the script written fully yet because also you don't have the location. Well, first steps you would do is find out the locations you do have access to. Do you have access to your own room, your own apartment, or a friend's apartment, a park? Doesn't matter where it is, find out what you have access to for free. The goal is to spend $0. I cannot reiterate that enough because people end up spending money on things that they don't need, especially when they're first starting out. Make sure you spend $0 making this film. Find out what resources you have access to. Phone a friend, phone a parent, phone a cousin. Doesn't matter who you're trying to reach out to figure out what space you have access to. Make sure it doesn't cost you a thing. All right. Now, once you kind of figure out what spaces you have access to, you have to also figure out what kind of tools you have access to. So that includes a camera. Now, if you have a DSLR camera, still great. A lot of films actually that first started out were shot on DSLR cameras back in the day. I started on the Rebel T6i, and that was a interesting camera nonetheless, but that's how I got started. And if you knew what you were doing, you could still get a decent enough image out of it to get your point across. Nowadays, everyone has a phone. So in reality, you can use your phone and shoot this film as well. These phones shoot 4K. The Samsung S25 Ultra shoots 8K. The Apple iPhone, the 15, the 16, both of those phones, as well as the Samsung 25S Ultra, can shoot in RAW, which means you can color grade that footage. So phones today are extremely powerful tools, and you don't need anything else to shoot your short film or, even skits. Your phone is plenty good, way better than what I had when I first started out. Now, once you find out that space you have access to, also find out who you have access to. I don't know if you want to act in the film yourself. It's a lot hard to record yourself and act in it, but people have done it before. Maybe you can ask a friend, maybe you can ask a sibling, maybe you can once again ask a parent, a cousin. Find out who you have access to and see who's willing to be a part of this short film. It's usually a lot more enjoyable when you have someone who's a part of this journey with you who also wants to get involved in filmmaking. And then once you kind of figure out all the things you need, the resources, the location, the places, then you write your story around those resources. So let's say you have a sister who maybe she moved out already. She has a space. She's been interested in acting before. So write the film regarding your sister with your sister's apartment. Maybe she has a sink that the pipe burst. Maybe the toilet flooded the apartment, and the whole directive that's driving the story is getting the toilet unclogged, or even simply, like I said before, going through a breakup. Something that many people deal with and can be super relatable. And if it's written well and correctly, it can actually get a lot of traction very quickly, especially online. So that is basically what resource filmmaking is. Now, once again, I want to reiterate to as many people as humanly possible, do not focus on gear, do not focus on spending money. You do not need to go out and find an excuse to buy a new camera. It's different when you're someone who does it on some sort of professional level, like myself and the people at BC14 Pictures. We are all different professionals that do different things. So some gear we own personally because, we get paid for our gear. There's a whole budget process, which I'm not getting into in this video. But in reality, you do not need to spend extra money trying to shoot this film. The whole purpose is to constrain yourself as much as possible so that we can boost your creativity and make a more compelling story instead of focusing on the things that are not really that important. Now, let's say you shot your film, you're trying to figure out what's the best post-production tools you can use. I am going to recommend two things specifically. One, if you have to, or you feel like you want to bring your film or whatever you shot into post-production on the computer, DaVinci Resolve, the free version, is literally about 80% of what you can expect from an NLE nowadays. It's free, 110% free. It is great. The only difference between that and the paid one is you get a couple extra features and a little better optimization when it comes to graphics cards and all that stuff. But either way, it is great. Two, if you want to edit it on your phone, you are absolutely able to use apps like CapCut. CapCut is a really good, really solid phone editing, I can't say NLE per se, but it's a really good phone editing app. And a lot of people use it and have used it and continue to use it. So I recommend using that for your phone if you're going to try and shoot everything on the phone, edit on the phone. There's other apps as well. Maybe you want to bring it into TikTok and then cut it up in TikTok's editor. That's also fine. I know Apple specifically, I don't think you can really do too much editing in your album or photo or whatever like that. But there's plenty of apps out there that are plenty free. I specifically recommend CapCut if you can. And if you don't want to spend any money, DaVinci Resolve, absolutely free. At the end of the day, storytelling is king. It is the primary thing people go to the movies to see. It is not common that people show up to the movies to watch and see what camera this is shot on. Oh my God, this is shot on an Lexus 65, or this was shot strictly on IMAX, or, this was shot on, a Sony Venice. Yeah, those are tools and they can make the film look great. But in reality, people go for the story. The reason people are talking about Sinners is not primarily because it was shot on IMAX. And yes, it was shot on IMAX 70mm with 15 perforations or 15 perf. Yes, it's a great looking film and it does add to the experience and the immersion in the film. I definitely can agree that it does matter to some level, but most of the conversation around the movie Sinners is about what? The story, what every character represents, the different layers and aspects of the film, like how does it pull you in, and the whole concept of Smoke and Stack and Sammy and Remick. Everyone's talking about the characters and the story surrounding this whole Sinners movie. Remember that. Story is king, tools are secondary. So go out there and write a really good story. And I promise you'll get much further than someone who's focused on presenting a really good film.